After I found out my parents secretly transferred the house to my brother, I stopped paying their bills. They got mad and started harassing me online. Without knowing, I planned to do 100 times worse. I used to question my place in the family. That all changed the day I checked the property records. 4 months ago, I was visiting my parents' house. Well, their house. On paper, sure. But I paid the mortgage, the groceries, every single repair, even the landscaping they insisted on last summer. And honestly, I didn't mind. Not even when my brother Marcus contributed absolutely nothing. Zero. Zilch. Nada. Marcus was 34, unemployed, and had zero responsibilities. He'd wake up at noon, play video games until dinner, then complain the Wi-Fi was slow. One time I bought groceries for the week and he legitimately asked if I could cook dinner too because he didn't know how to use the stove. The stove! The man was 34. He just existed, expecting everything handed to him on a silver platter. I wanted to be a good older brother. I really did. Furthermore, I thought maybe if I kept supporting the family, kept being reliable, they'd see my worth. Maybe they'd appreciate what I was doing. But that all changed the day I was helping Dad organize some financial documents. He'd asked me to sort through some old papers, scan a few things, file them properly. Normal stuff. I was trying to be helpful, trying to be the good son. That's when I decided to check something. I'd been paying the mortgage for years. The house was technically in their names, but I figured perhaps they'd added me at some point. As a co-owner. It made sense, right? So I pulled up the county property records online. Public information. Anyone can access it. I typed in the address. And everything clicked into place. The house had been transferred to Marcus 2 weeks ago. Not in a will, not after they pass. Already done. Legally registered. The deed showed his name, the property ID number, the date of transfer, notarized signatures. Everything. I stared at the screen, reading it over and over. I'd been paying the mortgage, the property taxes, the insurance, the repairs, for years. And legally, I had zero rights to any of it. I'd been a fool, paying for a house that was being quietly handed to my brother while I got nothing. Little did I know this was just the beginning. Hey Ethan, what's taking so long? So this is it? You already transferred the house to Marcus? While I was paying the mortgage? Ethan, it's not what you think. Really? Then what is it, Dad? Because the property records are pretty clear. Transferred ownership, 2 weeks ago. Marcus's name on the deed. It's complicated. Complicated. That's all you've got? It's complicated? We can discuss this later. Number, we're discussing it now. Nobody said anything for what felt like minutes. Dad shifted uncomfortably. His eyes darted to the door like he was looking for an escape. Where's Mom? Ethan, let's not make this a big thing. Mom! I heard footsteps, and then Mom appeared in the doorway. The moment she saw the property records on the screen and my expression, I watched her face shift. She knew exactly what was happening. Ethan, sweetheart. Don't sweetheart me. Explain this. You transferred the house to Marcus 2 weeks ago, while I was still paying the mortgage. You don't need the house, Ethan. You have a successful career. You're self-sufficient. Likewise, you have your own apartment, your own life. Marcus struggles. He needs more support. We just want to make sure he has security when we're gone. Security? He's 34 years old. He doesn't need security. He needs to grow up. That's not fair. What's not fair is that I've been funding your lives for years while you rewarded his laziness. We're not rewarding laziness. We're being practical. Marcus will need the house. You won't. You're doing fine. The casualness of it. The matter-of-fact way they explained it. Like it was the most logical thing in the world. They weren't even sorry. They genuinely believed this was fair. Justified. Reasonable. I felt something break inside me. Not my heart, that would be too dramatic. It was more like a chain that had been holding me to this family, to this obligation, to this role I'd been playing for years. And it just, quietly, snapped. I took a deep breath and placed my hands flat on the desk. Understood. Glad to know where we stand. Ethan, don't be dramatic. I'm not being dramatic. I'm being clear. You made your choice. Now I'm making mine. I walked past them, grabbed my jacket from the hook by the door and headed out. Ethan, wait. I didn't. I got in my car, started the engine, and drove away. In my rearview mirror, I could see them standing in the driveway, looking confused and frustrated. Satisfied. Good. For the first time in years, they were going to have to handle their own problems. If something broke, they could fix it themselves. If they needed groceries, they could buy their own. If a bill came due, they could figure it out. And most importantly, when that mortgage payment came around at the end of the month, dryly, well, I wasn't the one paying it anymore. The silence lasted exactly 10 days. At first, I think they genuinely believed I was just upset and would come around. That I'd cool off, feel guilty, and go back to being their personal ATM like always. They'd trained me well, after all. Years of guilt trips and family-first speeches had conditioned me to always put them before myself. But this time was different. This time, I was finished with it all. The first few days were almost peaceful. No calls, no texts, no requests for money or help or time. I actually enjoyed it. I went out with friends I hadn't seen in months, bought myself a nice dinner, started looking at apartments I could actually afford now that I wasn't hemorrhaging money to support 3 grown adults. Then, on day 10, my phone buzzed. Property taxes are due this week. I stared at the message. No greeting. No how are you. No we miss you or can we talk about what happened. Just a demand. A transaction. Like I was still their personal bank and nothing had changed. I actually laughed out loud. Sitting in my apartment, alone, laughing at the audacity. Did they really think they could just ask for money like nothing had happened? I typed back. I'm sure Marcus will handle it, since the house is in his name now. I hit send and waited. 12 minutes later, my phone rang. Mom. I let it go to voicemail. Then a text came through. Ethan, please don't be this way. We need to talk. Oh, now they wanted to talk. Now that the bills were piling up and reality was setting in. I waited a full hour before responding, just to make them sweat a little. There's nothing to discuss. You made your choice. Now live with it. I thought that would be the end of it for the day. Clear boundary set, message received. But then Marcus decided to get involved. His text came around 9 p.m. Bro, why are you being such a drama queen? It's no big deal. Just help them out like you always do. No big deal. He thought this was no big deal. The golden child who'd never worked a real job in his life, who'd never paid a single bill, who'd never contributed anything to anyone, thought I was overreacting. I felt my jaw clench. Nah, I think you've got it covered since you own the house now. Oh my God, are you seriously upset about the transfer? Grow up, man. It's just paperwork. Just paperwork. Now it was just paperwork. When it was his name on the deed, suddenly it didn't matter. Suddenly I was being childish for caring about it. The hypocrisy was staggering. Then you won't mind using your equity to pay the property taxes, right? I watched the 3 dots appear, then disappear. Appear again, then disappear. No response came. A few minutes passed, and then Mom texted again. This time, the guilt trip was in full force. Ethan, we're your parents. Family supports each other. We gave you so much growing up, and now you're just abandoning us? After everything we've done for you? I had to set my phone down and breathe deeply to avoid throwing it across the room. Abandoning them? I'd spent years making sure they never struggled. Years of my life. Thousands of dollars, countless hours. While they pampered Marcus and enabled his laziness and rewarded his complete lack of ambition. And now that they were finally facing consequences, I was the one abandoning them? You made it clear I wasn't family when you transferred the house to Marcus behind my back. Now the homeowner can support you. I could picture Mom's face, the shocked expression, the hand to her chest, the performance of being wounded. She was good at playing the victim, even when she was clearly in the wrong. Then Dad sent a message that made me see red. We're not asking for much, just enough to cover the property taxes for a few months until we sort things out. Don't be selfish, Ethan. Selfish. That word. That single word. I'd been bailing them out financially for years, sacrificing my own future, my own happiness, my own financial security. I'd delayed buying a home, delayed traveling, delayed living my own life, all to support them. And when I finally stood up for myself, I was being selfish? My hands were shaking as I typed. No. I'm finished. Then I did something I should have done years ago. I muted all their numbers. They'd made their choice. Now they'd live with the consequences. The next morning I woke up to something I wasn't expecting. A notification on my phone. A payment request through my banking app. From Mom. For $4,800. I sat up in bed, staring at the screen in disbelief. She hadn't even asked. Hadn't sent a text first or called or tried to explain. She'd just sent a payment request. Like I was an ATM. Like I existed purely to fund their lifestyle. The description read, urgent, property taxes and missing house payment. No message. No explanation. Just a cold, calculated demand for exactly what they needed. The audacity was almost impressive. I declined it without a second thought. Not even 12 minutes later, my phone started ringing. Mom again. I ignored it. Then the texts started coming rapid fire. Ethan, I know you saw the request. Why did you decline it? Because it's not my responsibility. Ask the property owner. We'll lose the house if you don't help us. Is that what you want? To see your parents homeless? Maybe you should have thought about that before transferring ownership without telling me. You're really going to let your parents become homeless over this? Wow. Just wow. The manipulation was so transparent it was almost laughable. They weren't going to be homeless. They had savings. They had options. They just didn't want to use them because they were so accustomed to me solving all their problems. I left them on red. That evening, Marcus finally chimed in. Bro, just send them the money already. You're making this a way bigger deal than it needs to be. Stop being petty. Petty. I was being petty. You mean the same house you now own? Why don't you pay the taxes on your property? You know I don't have that kind of money right now. There it was. The truth. He didn't have money because he'd never worked for it. Never earned it. Never had to. Guess you better figure it out then, bro. You're the homeowner now. Time to start acting like it. No response. I went to bed feeling something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. Like I'd finally broken free from chains I didn't even realize were holding me down. 3 days later, I was leaving work when I heard someone call my name. I turned around in the parking lot, and there they were. Mom, Dad, and Marcus, standing near my car. No warning, no call ahead. Just there. My stomach dropped. We need to talk. This isn't the time or place. You've been ignoring us. We need to settle this. Settle what? You transferred the house to Marcus. That settled everything. You're really going to let the property go into default? Over some paperwork? The property isn't mine. You made sure of that. The owner should handle property taxes. That's how ownership works. Ethan, we're family. Family supports each other no matter what. Support is mutual. You made a decision without consulting me while I was paying your bills. I made a decision to stop. That's called boundaries. Boundaries. That's called being ungrateful. We raised you, fed you, clothed you. The least you can do is help. I already helped. For years. And you repaid me by secretly transferring everything to him. Man, I didn't even ask for this number. You just accepted it. You've been accepting things your whole life. Furthermore, you're 34 years old, Marcus. 34. Time to figure out how to pay property taxes on your own house. You don't have to be a dick about it, and you don't have to be a freeloader, but here we are. Ethan, please, we're family. You're right, Mom. Family should support each other. So why didn't you support me? Why did you transfer the house without even telling me? Why did you make it clear I only matter when you need money? She opened her mouth. No words came out. That's what I thought. Don't show up at my workplace again. Don't come to my apartment. This conversation is over. I got in, started the engine, and drove away. In my rearview mirror, I could see them standing there, looking lost. Good. My phone buzzed before I even got home. After everything we've done for you, this is how you treat us. You're abandoning your own parents. Unbelievable. I typed back one message. No, Dad. You cut me out first. I'm just accepting reality. Then I blocked all 3 of their numbers. Every single one. And for the first time in my entire adult life, I felt free. But that wasn't the end of it. Less than a day later, the Instagram posts started. My parents weren't particularly tech-savvy, but they knew how to make themselves look like victims online. The first one appeared in my feed that evening. Mom's Instagram story. Black background, white text. When family turns their back on you in your time of need, some people forget where they came from. Within an hour, she'd posted more stories. Photos of family memories with captions about loyalty and sacrifice. Then Dad made an actual post. A photo of their house with a long caption. Heartbroken today. We worked our whole lives to give our children everything. Education, love, a home, opportunities. Now, when we require basic family support, one of our sons has abandoned us completely. We're not asking for the world, just help with property expenses on the family home. But apparently that's too much to ask. praying he finds it in his heart to remember what family means. He tagged me in it. My phone started blowing up. DMs from cousins I hadn't talked to in years. Comments from their church friends. Messages asking what's wrong with you and how could you do this to your parents. Then Marcus posted. His was the longest. A carefully crafted post with a photo of him and our parents. Some people think family is transactional. They don't understand unconditional love. My parents sacrificed everything to give us good lives. They worked hard, saved money, and now deserve peace in their retirement. I'm grateful every single day for what they've given me. Real family shows up, even when it's inconvenient. Real love means helping the people who raised you. Some people need to learn what loyalty actually means. He tagged me too. I sat there staring at my phone, hands trembling. They'd completely rewritten the story, made themselves the victims, made me the villain. According to their version, I was the ungrateful son who abandoned his loving, sacrificial parents for no reason. No mention of the property transfer. No mention of the years I'd paid their bills. No mention of Marcus never contributing anything. Just a narrative designed to make me look heartless. And it was working. The comments poured in. Your brother should be ashamed. Family is everything. He'll regret this. Praying for your family during this difficult time. My cousin Jennifer even commented, Ethan, what's going on? This isn't like you. I felt something shift. They wanted to control the narrative? They wanted to turn people against me publicly? Fine. I wasn't going to guilt trip. Wasn't going to play victim. Wasn't going to get emotional. I was going to tell the truth. I opened Instagram and started typing a post of my own. I've stayed silent while my family posted about me online. But I need to set the record straight. For years, I financially supported my parents. Not occasionally. Constantly. I paid their mortgage, their property taxes, their insurance, their repairs. Every month, thousands of dollars from my paycheck went to keeping their household running. My brother Marcus is 34 and contributed nothing during this time. No job, no income, no help with any expenses. I did this willingly because I wanted to help my family. But 4 months ago, I discovered something. While helping Dad with paperwork, I checked the county property records. Public information anyone can access. The house I'd been paying for? Already transferred to Marcus. 2 weeks before I found out. Not planned for the future. Done. Registered. Legal. I attached a screenshot of the property record, with address and ID numbers redacted for privacy. Just the facts. Transfer date, Marcus's name on the deed. That's when I realized I wasn't family to them. I was a checkbook. Good enough to pay bills, not good enough to be told what was happening with the property I was financing. So I stopped paying, set boundaries. And now I'm the villain? Marcus has never held a meaningful job, never paid property taxes, never taken responsibility. And now he legally owns the house so he can handle the expenses that come with home ownership. To everyone asking what happened, how would you feel learning your family transferred a house you'd been paying for without telling you? I didn't abandon anyone. I stopped letting people exploit me. To my parents, I don't hate you, but I won't be your ATM while you make decisions behind my back. To Marcus, you're an adult, act like one. There are always two sides. This is mine. I hit post. For about 30 seconds, nothing happened. Then my phone exploded. Likes, comments, shares, DMS. Within 5 minutes, dozens of responses flooded in. My friend Kevin, holy shit, man, I had no idea. That's insane. My Aunt Linda, Dad's sister, I'm shocked. I knew you were helping, but I didn't know they'd transferred the house without telling you. Even people from their church started commenting. This changes things. Both sides need to be heard. If this is true, I understand Ethan's position. My cousin Jennifer. Ethan, I'm so sorry. I didn't know the full story. That's really unfair. More people reached out privately. Some family members I hadn't heard from in years told me they'd had similar issues with my parents, that this pattern wasn't new, that they understood. It felt quietly validating. Then the backlash hit. Marcus DM'd me. You're a fucking traitor! You really just put our family business on blast for everyone? You have zero respect. I replied, you tagged me first. I just corrected the record. He didn't respond. Dad called from an unknown number. I didn't answer. He left a voicemail, voice shaking with rage. You've destroyed everything, Ethan. Our reputation in the community is ruined. How could you embarrass us like this, publicly? You'll regret this. Don't ever contact us again. I listened once, deleted it. Mom sent a long text. I'm heartbroken, Ethan. How could you humiliate us like this? We gave you life, and this is how you repay us? By dragging our family through social media? I hope you're proud. You've destroyed this family. I didn't respond. I blocked all of them again, and I felt nothing. No guilt, no regret, no sadness. Just relief. Or so I thought. The next morning, I woke up to an email notification. From my bank. Authorization request alert. $6,200. I sat up, fully awake now. Mom had tried to transfer money from our joint account, the one I'd been added to years ago for emergencies. $6,200. Straight to her personal account, without asking, without warning. The transfer had been automatically flagged because I'd set up alerts for large transactions. It hadn't gone through yet. It needed my approval. But the fact that she'd tried. That's when I realized blocking them wasn't enough. I needed to cut off all access, every connection, every avenue, everything. Completely. But here's the thing. Matter-of-factly, I wasn't done yet. See, I'd spent years being their financial support system, which meant they'd given me access to everything. Bank accounts, joint owner on the main one. Credit cards, authorized user. Mortgage account, auto pay from my account. Insurance policies, I was paying them. They'd trusted me with all of it because I was the responsible one. That was their mistake. I sat down at my computer and got to work. First, I called the bank, explained I needed to remove myself as joint owner from their account. Provided my information. Done in 15 minutes. They'd have to go in person now to add me back, which would never happen. Second, I contacted the mortgage company, explained that I'd been making payments on someone else's property and needed my account disconnected from their auto pay. The representative understood completely. 5 minutes later, no more connection. Now Marcus would have to set up payments himself, with his own money, for his own house. Now here's where it gets interesting. 3 years back, Dad asked me to co-sign on a home equity line of credit. They needed it for emergency home repairs, which somehow turned into a vacation to Arizona, but whatever. I'd agreed because back then I was still the family doormat. That HELOC was still active, and as a co-signer, I had full rights to monitor and request actions on the account. I logged in. They'd been drawing from it regularly, using it like a personal piggy bank. Current balance, $52,000. I could have done something petty, could have maxed it out, could have done real damage. But I didn't. Instead, I did something completely legal. I contacted the lender and requested a freeze on the account due to concerns about unauthorized usage patterns. As a cosigner, that was my right. The lender agreed to temporarily freeze the account pending investigation. Mom and Dad would now have to provide documentation, prove every charge, jump through bureaucratic hoops. It would take months to resolve. Next, insurance. Home insurance, auto insurance. I'd been paying all of it through my account for convenience. I called each company, removed my payment information, requested all future bills be mailed directly to the property address. We're restructuring our family financial arrangements. They'll be handling their accounts independently now. Done. Within 24 hours, they'd start receiving bills they hadn't seen in years. Bills I'd been quietly handling. Property tax notices, insurance premiums, utility companies where I'd been listed as backup contact. All of it. Their problem now. I wasn't doing anything illegal. I was simply extracting myself from their financial life. Every safety net I'd built over the years. Gone. The final touch? Dad had listed me as beneficiary on his life insurance policy years ago. Just in case. You're the one who handles things responsibly. I couldn't change it without his signature, but I could do something else. I requested a beneficiary change form from the insurance company and had it mailed to their address, with a note attached. Based on recent family circumstances and the property transfer to Marcus, I believe he should be primary beneficiary on all policies. Please complete and return at your convenience. Let them sit with that. I waited. It took 4 days for everything to hit. Ethan, what the hell did you do? The bank says I need to come in person to access, and the mortgage company says, and something's wrong with the HELOC. We can't access any of it. I removed myself from your financial accounts. I'm not responsible for your expenses anymore. You transferred the house to Marcus. Now you can manage your finances without me. You can't just... We could default on everything. Then Marcus should start paying property expenses. Or you could use your savings. The savings you were protecting by having me fund everything. The HELOC is frozen. We need that money for the tax payment. Take it up with the lender. I reported unusual activity as a cosigner. They'll investigate and unfreeze it eventually. Probably takes a few months, though. Silence. Heavy breathing. You planned this. You've been planning to destroy us. No, Dad. I've been extracting myself from a situation where I was being used. I spent years building financial safety nets for you. Now I'm dismantling them. You wanted Marcus to have the house? Great. Let him figure out how to maintain it. I hung up. Ethan, please. We're going to lose everything. The insurance, the property taxes, Please, we're your parents. You made it clear I'm not really your son, just a bank account with legs. So I'm closing that account. For good. We didn't mean it like that. The transfer was just, please don't do this. I'm not doing anything, Mom. I'm stopping doing things. There's a difference. I hung up. Marcus sent a desperate text. Dude, WTF did you do? They're freaking out. They're saying you sabotaged them. What's going on? I removed myself from their finances. Something you should have been helping with all along. Time to step up, little brother. You own the house now. Start acting like a homeowner. I don't know how to handle any of this stuff. I don't even know what a hellos is. Google exists. YouTube has tutorials. Library has books. Welcome to adulthood. It's challenging, isn't it? He didn't respond after that. Over the next 2 weeks, I heard through family members about the chaos I'd left behind. Dad had to take time off work to visit the bank in person to straighten out account access. Mom had a complete meltdown when insurance bills started arriving, and she saw how much everything actually cost. They had to hire a financial advisor to help organize everything, because they genuinely had no idea what they'd been paying for what. The HELOC investigation meant no access to that money. Their planned bathroom renovation? Cancelled. And Marcus? Marcus had to actually sit down with them and learn about property taxes, insurance payments, and home maintenance for the first time in his life. My Aunt Linda called me. Ethan, your parents are telling everyone you're trying to financially destroy them. I'm not destroying anything. I'm just not building them up anymore. They're adults. They can manage their own household. Your dad says you sabotaged their line of credit. I reported concerning activity as a cosigner. That's my legal right. If everything's legitimate, the investigation will clear it eventually. Is it legitimate? That's for the bank to determine. You're really finished with them, aren't you? Completely. Completely. They've been taking advantage for years. Someone needed to call them on it. The beautiful part? Everything I did was 100% legal. No theft, no fraud, no unauthorized access to anything. I simply removed myself from financial arrangements I'd voluntarily entered. All those years of being the responsible son meant they'd given me keys to their entire financial life, and I handed every single key back. They wanted Marcus to inherit everything? Perfect. He could start managing it now. People asked if I felt guilty. Not even a little. They'd spent years using me as a financial safety net, while planning to give everything to someone who'd never contributed a dime. I just made them face reality a little earlier than they'd expected. And honestly, it felt incredible. For the first time in years, I wasn't responsible for anyone's problems but my own. No mortgage payments, no insurance premiums, no emergency repair calls. Just contented freedom. That was 4 months ago. The silence since then has been the most peaceful period of my adult life. I haven't heard from them directly. Blocking took care of that. But through mutual family members, I've gotten some interesting updates. Reality hit them hard once my money disappeared. They had to dip into their retirement accounts to cover the mortgage for the first 2 months. The HELOC investigation took 9 weeks before it finally got cleared. But by then, they'd already burned through thousands. They had to cancel their annual anniversary trip and cut back drastically. Dad even picked up some consulting work on weekends. Then they started selling possessions. Dad's vintage record collection went on eBay. Mom's jewelry got pawned. They even listed their vacation timeshare in Nevada, though I heard they're having trouble finding a buyer. And Marcus? Here's the best part. He got a job, an actual job, at a home improvement store. Part-time at first, then full-time. Apparently, when their finances imploded and Mom and Dad started panicking, they gave him an ultimatum. Contribute to household expenses or find somewhere else to live. And for the first time in his adult life, Marcus had to face real consequences. I heard through my cousin that he complained constantly for the first 6 weeks. His feet hurt from standing all day. The customers were difficult. The pay was terrible. Classic Marcus, blaming everyone else. But he's still there. 4 months in. Still working. Still contributing to the property taxes on the house he owns. Maybe because he finally realized no one was going to carry him anymore. As for me, I took all the money I'd been wasting on them and made a down payment. Just closed on my own place last week. A nice 2-bedroom condo in the Arts District with a balcony view. It's mine. Completely mine. No one else's mortgage hanging over it. No guilt attached to the payments. Just my place. I've been traveling more too. Took a long weekend in Asheville last month. Planning a hiking trip to Montana next month. Things I'd always wanted to do but couldn't justify because I was too busy funding other people's lives. My dating life improved as well. Started seeing someone I met at a photography workshop. Nicole. She's amazing. And for the first time, I'm not canceling plans because my family needs help with something urgent. I'm not stressed about money constantly. I'm just present. She doesn't know the full story yet. I'll tell her when the time's right. But for now, it's nice to just be Ethan. Not the son who pays for everything. Not Marcus's responsible older brother. Just me. Some family members have asked if I'll ever reconcile. The answer is no. Not out of spite, not out of bitterness, but because I finally understand something crucial. You can't have a genuine relationship with people who only value you for what you provide. My parents made their decision years ago when they transferred that house. They decided Marcus mattered more. They decided my years of sacrifice meant less than protecting their golden child from ever having to grow up. I'm just accepting what they already showed me. Some people think I should forgive. That family is family. Blood is thicker than water. All that. They quote sayings about honoring parents and letting go of anger. But those people weren't there. They didn't sacrifice years of their own financial future for people who saw them as nothing more than a convenient solution to their problems. So no, I don't feel guilty. I deserved better than what they gave me. I still deserve better. And for the first time in my life, I'm giving myself what I deserve. My therapist, I started seeing someone. Best investment I've ever made. Says I'm establishing healthy boundaries. That recognizing exploitation and walking away isn't cruelty. It's self-preservation. She's right. Moving forward, I'm surrounding myself with people who value me. Friends who show up consistently. Colleagues who respect my contributions. A girlfriend who sees me as a partner, not a provider. People who understand relationships should be reciprocal. Turns out, cutting off toxic family was the best decision I ever made. So to anyone reading this in a similar situation, whether it's parents, siblings, friends, or partners, here's what I learned. You don't owe people your financial future just because you share DNA. You're not selfish for establishing boundaries. Not only that, but you're not wrong for expecting basic respect in exchange for years of sacrifice. And you're definitely not wrong for walking away from people who only value your wallet. It took me 36 years to learn that. Don't let it take you as long. My family wanted to paint me as the villain, the selfish son who abandoned his parents over just paperwork. But I'm not the villain in their story. I'm the hero in mine. And that's what matters. Update. 2 weeks later. Okay, I wasn't planning to add anything else, but something happened a few days ago that I need to share. I ran into Marcus at a coffee shop. Complete coincidence. I was grabbing my usual order, turned toward the door, and there he was at a corner table. We made eye contact. For a second, I considered just leaving. But then he said, hey. Just, hey. Awkward silence. Other customers moved around us. Look, man, I know you probably don't want to hear from me. And I'm not asking you to forgive anyone. But I get it now. Why you left. Working sucks. Paying bills sucks. Being an actual responsible adult sucks. And I never realized how much you were doing for everyone until I had to start doing it myself. So yeah, I'm sorry, for what it's worth. I didn't know what to say. He stood up, grabbed his coffee, started walking toward the door, then turned back. Oh, and Mom and Dad? They're never going to apologize. They still think they were right about everything. Just thought you should know that. Then he left. I stood there for a solid 5 minutes, just processing. Did Marcus just Apologize? Did Marcus just acknowledge reality? Wild. I don't know if that changes anything between us. Probably not. But it was strange hearing him actually take accountability for the first time in his life. Maybe the job at the home improvement store is teaching him more than just how to cut lumber. Anyway, that's the update. Life continues to be unexpected. But I'm still not going back.